The Master Key. The Hourglass of Success. Dude almost looks like Franklin Delano Roosevelt or something, sitting there with a pile of 6 books by his left arm, sort of down by his hand, a tilted book over a tilted book, and 5 more books. But he holds in his hand open a book, which is obviously smaller than this Master Key volume by Laurence. And the whole thing is in a hourglass. So there's a wooden disc at the bottom. Well, it doesn't have that wooden disc, and it says the Hourglass of Success instead of that, but it does have the wooden disc atop and the wood bits hanging down. You know that design where like you have that like a sphere sort of, but it's attached to the rest on each side, but that's different. So it's got that on each of those 2 bits there. An amazing letter. Never before in the history of the world has a book like the Master Key been written, and if you read the following amazing letter, you will realize how true these words are, for it shows that this book has been the means of helping men and women to find their way to influence, success, money, and power. In fact, it has become a sort of byword over the worlds. Read and study the Master Key, and you will then be able to overcome failure and obstacles. Many have been foolish and spent their money for books on will and power and personal magnetism, and tried one thing after another without success. But it should be understood that the Master Key is a standard work by a wonderful writer, and once you read it, you seem to get a sort of sure grip on failure and overcome it. There is in life no such a thing as luck, and the person who believes in it or sits down and waits for things to come their way is very foolish, and is always found with a long, sad face. If you wish to succeed, it will be necessary for you to learn those secret things that have made great men successful, and this is certainly and surely taught in the Master Key. Success hinges upon certain secret things, and unless you possess them, you are very liable to be counted among the failures and go down in the battle of life. All big successful men and women have learned the one thing that this book teaches. It matters not whether they are a merchant clerk, a lawyer, a doctor, or a farmer. They possess that secret power which leads to success. Otherwise, they would be tramping along the path of failure and disappointment. The head of a large firm came to us when they wanted a book written to meet the special requirements and needs of their employee. There are other publishers, all hundreds of miles nearer this firm than we are, but they went out of their way to bring the problem to us, and the Master Key by Laurence solved it for them. This book is fully described in our catalog, and the very same has rendered amazing service to thousands and thousands of men and women all over the world, and this is characteristic of every one of Laurence's books. Those who are interested in what is written here may read the letter printed on the following page, and they will see that every statement made regarding the most marvelous and wonderful book is more than true. This book is published in 5 different bindings, and is fully described with price on another page. And there's a symbol on the fabric bookmark, like a backwards N combined with K. You know what I mean? There's like a V, and then there's a line down from that, but then there's a line going up on each side. Oh, maybe it is a bit tilted there, so maybe it's some sort of magical symbol. And so you have a guy, he has one of those pointer things to read with, but his hands are on the page, so that's kind of defeatist, right? in that respect. And there's 4 women over him. So they're selling the. If you know the secret of power, women will flock around you. Yes. And there's this Sarasota, Florida, November 9th, 1916. There's a drawing. There's it's a right hand in a double-sleeved arm, so I guess he's wearing a coat. This man has witnessed a wonderful change after reading the Master Key. A piece of paper kind of rolled to the bottom like it's a scroll, but nothing special about the paper to indicate that, per se. The Laurence, honored sir and brother, I've received your latest book, The Master Key, and can happily and truthfully say that even before I were able to read more than 3 chapters in it, I began to witness a great and wonderful change myself. I later went to Tampa, and many of my friends noticed the great change which had come over me, and that I seemed to have lately become a remarkably successful man. You cannot realize what a wonderful difference this book has made in me. I cannot see where an individual's mind could be if he could not see and realize the great help and power springing up within him after having this great book. Personally, I'm more than pleased with it, for it has benefited me more than any book I've ever owned. I truly wish you a long, happy, and prosperous life. Sincerely yours, the above remarkable letter is on file in our office. And, particularly back in the day, it's like, oh, that's the guy's name, so we know where he, so you didn't want to necessarily say everybody's name when you do that sort of stuff. The Master Key, Library Edition. Price and bindings of Library Edition. Size of Library Edition is 7 by 9.5 inches and is about 2 inches thick. Bound in red silk cloth, gold edges. Order number 601, Library Edition, bound in handsome red silk cloth. Side and back title, stamped in pure gold leaf, gold edges. Price $3. Prepaid, foreign 13 shillings. Nowadays, some books are more valuable because of the gold sheeting that came with it than they would be done by themselves. But, I mean that they, that one can expect to get by itself. So some people even destroy books because of this thing going on because of the price of gold. But bound in Morocco, full leather, gold edges. Order number 602, Library Edition, bound in Morocco, full leather, side and back title, stamped in pure gold leaf, gold edges, price $5, prepaid, foreign €1.1 shilling, bound in full limp French seal, grain leather, gold edges, order 603, Library Edition, bound in full grain leather, side and back title, stamped in pure gold leaf, gold edges, price $6, prepaid, foreign €1, 5 shillings. Or is that an L thing? Is it a lira? 1 lira, 5 shillings? The Master Key, Popular Edition, price and bindings of Popular Edition. The Popular Edition is 5.5 by 8 inches and is about 1.5 inches thick. Bound in green silk cloth, plain edges, order 604. Popular Edition, bound in fine green silk cloth, side and back title, stamped in pure gold leaf, plain edges, price $2.50. Prepaid, foreign 11 shillings. So we would work all week to pay for that one book. Bound in red seal, green leather, gold edges. Order number 605. Popular Edition. Bound in red seal, green leather, side and back title, stamped in pure gold leaf, gold edges. Price $3. Prepaid, foreign 13 shillings. This remarkable volume is divided into 6 parts. Contains 37 full chapters, embracing 35 lessons of graduated difficulty, covering 40 individual numbered exercises in which the fundamental principles and the various aspects of scientific concentration are fully explained. It might be interesting to actually look up to see if there's any of those to read. But I guess it was a better thing for me to go visit relatives with a Manly P. Hall book than Lauron William de Laurence book. But let's be real. Wherever people get good, wherever people get truth, wherever people get the intention, the consciousness to do what they should do or not do what they shouldn't do, all good to them, right? And sometimes some book publisher that says I've traveled about India and I'm rich and I can, obviously the guy's learned. We tell that very distinctly, but it seems overstated, right? But if people get this from that, they get that from that. Just like, I've talked about Eckankar and all this other stuff. It's like, well, Paul Twitchell obviously jumbled what he encountered in library work books in Seattle and some other places where he lived, right? But some people, through his work, get these teachings that they would have never otherwise got. And we, of course, have the aspect of spiritual exercises. It's like, well, with information like this, you can produce a lot of spiritual exercises. But if a person doesn't have, if they don't, a lot of people don't come up with their own spiritual exercises. And other people are like, well, just read the scriptures. It's like, okay, fine. Maybe that's the topmost thing, or the type of prayer revealed or inspired to the prophetic, the prophet for humanity, or prophet for whatever area of God people. Yeah, okay, fine. But that doesn't mean you can't do some extra thing on one's own. Muhammad, for example, didn't condemn poets. He didn't condemn artists for being any type of art. There were certain ethics to follow, sure. But it wasn't that, oh, no, nobody can do anything with language except quote or dryly explain things to the people. No further dramas or something. It's like, well, don't think that the circle is going to protect you or something like that. Do these things according to the prophetic ways, right? But yeah, some people need some people need a Sufi guide to tell them the various things that they compiled over the years, and some people need the other. A lot of people think they need it, but don't need it, but can make good use of it nonetheless.